Hello medical coders, this is Surya Johnson, your medical coding guide. In today's video, it's all gonna learn about human anatomy in a very interesting way, especially for freshers or people who really wanted to know about human anatomy. In this video, we'll be learning in a digitalized way about the skeletal system of a human body. So let's get started. So this is an outline of a human body like we saw in my previous video. If you've not watched that video, I have a part 1 video about this digitalized human body learning where I've included the internal organs. I've explained the internal organs and their functions as well. So today's video is going to be about the skeletal system, the bones of the body. So the skeletal system provides the support structure of the body. It gives shape and allows movement and makes blood cells and also protects the internal organs and stores minerals. So here we will start with the skull. Skull actually contains total of 29 bones. The smaller bones are combined together and it forms the skull. So the skull is made up of 3 types of bones: cranial bones, facial bones and ear ossicles. So the skull supports the structures of the face and it forms a cavity for the brain. So the brain is protected by the skull. So the skull is also known as cranium. Next here we will align the rib cage. So the rib cage, it looks like a basket-like skeletal structure. It forms the chest, or also known as thorax, and it is made up of ribs and their corresponding attachments. It attaches to the sternum, that is the breastbone. We'll add that also. And at the back it attaches to the vertebral column. So the rib cage, it surrounds the lungs and hearts, and it gives a bony protection to these vital organs. So the rib cage consists of 12 thoracic vertebrae. So the vertebrae is attached, right? So the 12 thoracic vertebrae includes in rib cage, and we have 24 ribs in addition to the sternum. So as I already told, the rib cage at the back is connected to the thoracic vertebrae. So next we'll arrange the spine at the back of the body. So the spine is a complex structure of small vertebrae, discs, joints, ligaments and muscles. So this spine protects the spinal cords and the nerves. So we have the cervical vertebrae, thoracic vertebrae, lumbar, sacrum, and at the base we have coccyx. At the lumbar region we have the pelvis. So the pelvis is usually defined as the middle part of the human body between the lumbar region and the thighs inferiorly. And the pelvis supports the upper body weight and also supports the contents of the abdomen. Then we have the thigh bone. Thigh bone is known as femur. So the femur is the longest and the strongest bone in human body. So it plays an important role in how a person stands, move and keep the balance. So the femur is the only bone in the thigh. It runs from the hip to the knee. Because the thigh bone is very strong, it usually takes very severe trauma like a fall or very serious injuries to break the femur. Then we will see about the bones of the hands. So the bones of the hands are of 3 different types: carpal bones, metacarpals and phalanges. Likewise, we have the bones in the foot. It comprises of the tarsal bones, metatarsal bones and the phalanges. So the bones in the foot along with the other lower limb, it functions in supporting the body weight and provides locomotion, that is movement.
Then we have sternum. It's a flat T-shaped bone at the center in front of the chest. It forms a part of your rib cage. I'm Eva Johnson.
The sternum is also known as breastbone. Then the lower end of your lower limb, we have the tibia and fibula. So tibia is the second longest bone in the body. It plays a major or important role in how we stand, move, and it helps to keep balance. So tibia is also known as shin bone. Shin bone means it is in the front part of the leg. At the lateral side of the tibia bone, we have the fibula. It is also known as calf bone. It gives the calf its structure and it forms the top of the ankle. So these both tibia and fibula forms the 2 bones of the lower leg. This fibula bone is connected to the tibia bone at both the ends. Now let's focus on the upper extremity of the human body. So we have the humerus, which is the upper arm bone. And this humerus is the only bone in the upper arm. It runs from the shoulder to the elbow. So the major function is helps to move the arm and flex and rotate. So then we have the lower arm, and the lower arm is called as the forearm. So the forearm is made up of two bones. So this is the ulna, one of the bones in the forearm. The ulna is located in the medial side of the forearm, like your pinky finger is, right, the small finger. Towards that is the ulna. The ulna is longer than the radius. So the radius is one of the two bones in the forearm. It is in the opposite side of the ulna and towards the thumb side of the forearm. Then we have the scapula, and it is also called as shoulder blade. So it is like a flat triangular shaped bone that is located in the upper thoracic region on the back side on the dorsal surface of the rib cage. Scapula connects with the humerus, that is the upper arm, and then also with the clavicle. We have the clavicle. It is a long, slightly curved bone that connects the arm to the body. It is also known as collarbone. When you just feel your base of the neck, you can find one on both sides of the base of your neck, this collarbone. Then we have the mandible. The mandible is the largest and strongest bone in the face. It forms the lower part of the jaw and your mouth. So the mandible is the only movable bone in your skull and helps in chewing and other mouth movements. Then this bone is the kneecap, known as patella. So it is a bone at the front of the knee joint, and it protects the knee joint and gives supports to a lot of important muscles, tendons and ligaments. So this is the entire skeletal system. So we saw about the skull, and then we saw about the rib cage that is connected to the sternum, the chest bone. Then we have the upper arm, humerus, forearm, radius and ulna. Then we have the hand. Then the vertebral column, spine, where we have the vertebrae. So 7 cervical vertebrae, 12 thoracic, 5 lumbar, 5 sacrum, and 4 coccygeal vertebrae. Then we have the pelvis. Then the longest and strongest bone, femur bone, thigh bone, then tibia and fibula. Then we have the foot bones. And we also saw about the shoulder blades behind in the thoracic area, and we saw about the collarbone below the neck. The skeletal system is not only composing of the bones. The skeletal system actually consists of bones, cartilages, ligaments and tendons. And an adult human skeleton usually consists of 2 not 6 bones. The skeletal system is usually grouped in 2 divisions, axial skeleton and appendicular skeleton. So axial skeleton includes your head, vertebral column, ribs, breastbone, that is the sternum, right? These are all axial skeleton. The appendicular skeleton consists of the free appendages like the upper extremities, lower extremities, also called as limbs, and their attachments. This is all about the skeletal system. If you found this video to be useful and interesting, please hit the like button so I'll know that you all really like this video. And please share with your friends so they can also learn. Medical coders should be aware of the basic anatomy and pathophysiology. All these things should be understood, should be known to a medical coder. Because if you have an idea about the case, about the anatomy, about the pathophysiology, it will be very much helpful to pick the codes easily. I've already posted videos on the anatomy based on prefix, suffix and root words. You can watch those videos as well. I'll put a link in the description box below, because all coders should know the basic anatomy. And if you want to know in depth aspect of a medical coder, what all you should learn in the anatomical part, you can email me. I have 100+ pages of PDF dedicated completely for the anatomy and pathophysiology, with all the medical terminologies, with all beautiful pictures and the disease condition and common disease conditions in each anatomical structures. So if you want this PDF, you can very well email me or Instagram me. I'll give the details. So if you're new to this channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell icon so you'll not miss any of my future medical coding related video. This is Surya Johnson, your medical coding guide.